Witcher Blood Origin, the finale, and we start off with Princess Merwin and she has a new outfit on, and oh boy does that look cheap. Just try not to laugh, and what is the point of the armour anyway? Her whole face is exposed, her neck is exposed, her armour has a big gap in the belly, she has no protection on her upper arms or above her boots, and that's all academic anyway, as the armour also appears to be made of plastic. Just look at this powerful woman, who looks like she got her armour from a Spirit Halloween. This surely has to be a joke.
Are you serious?
This show went out on Netflix. Netflix is the largest video streaming service in the world. This is the network that put out The Punisher just a few years ago, and now we get Witcher Blood Origin. Netflix's share price is also now roughly half of what it was a year ago. A coincidence, I'm sure, and I've just been watching so much garbage from these networks. I've actually been watching Original Scooby-Doo as a palate cleanser, and I didn't even like that show very much as a child. It always seemed very tame to me when I was younger, and I always wanted something with more giant robots and explosions. But for now, I just needed something to watch that wasn't complete cancer. Empress Merwin is going to try and conquer new worlds, apparently using Eredin and 6 guys. 6 guys! Are you serious? But we've already seen what's through those portals. A giant flying beastie with laser vision that vaporises elves with a glance came through that portal. And you're going to send the leader of your armed forces with 6 guys. Who's going to command the army at home while he's gone? But it's actually not that silly. It's a lesser known fact that during World War II, the Allies actually sent both FDR and Churchill on the Dieppe raid into occupied Europe. FDR in his wheelchair and Churchill in a wetsuit looking like a manatee with a bayonet clutched between his teeth. They stormed the beach with 6 guys, and of course they didn't. Of course none of that's true, because it'd be really, really stupid. I suppose it did happen in medieval times. Kings would lead their armies to war, and they would do that because trusting someone else to be the head of your army was quite a good way to be replaced by the person who's now head of the army and has all the military power. And in this story, that's exactly what happens. In truth, the Elven Society doesn't make much sense at all. So the Empress and Eredin trust Lenny Henry to open a portal for them, and Eredin is planning to use Lenny Henry's assistant as a hostage. He says that he will keep Fenric in his blade's shadow, and he says this 55 seconds into the episode.
Watch Valor as you would a viper at your feet.
I'll keep Fenric in my blade's shadow.
So Eredin and his group go through the portal, and Eredin immediately forgets about Fenric. He forgets about the hostage he was supposed to be keeping, and the hostage that was his only leverage to keep Lenny Henry honest. He forgets about her at 1 minute 45 into the show, and that's under a minute. It takes him 50 seconds to forget the one thing that was going to keep him alive and safe. Are you serious? Sweet mother of mercy, this show is stupid. It's actually insulting how stupid this show is. Lenny Henry has taken their group to the dark planet where the Fey spirit he's been plotting with is. Lenny Henry then sacrifices Fenric to the spirit for power, and because Eredin wandered off, he's now too far away to do anything about it. Fenric is Lenny's deaf body positivity sign language using assistant that hasn't assisted him once in the entire series. She did even less than Brother Death. She did nothing, but Lenny loves her for reasons that are never explained in the show and happen off camera, so I hope that clears that up. Then Lenny betrays Eredin and sends him and the 6 soldiers through a portal to somewhere random, where Eredin finds a skull in the dirt, and that's the new origin story of the Wild Hunt. Now Lenny says he's going to take what he always deserved. everything. Then the opening credits roll, and that's altogether too much nonsense for before the credits have even rolled. Meanwhile, the Lark's army has just walked right into Sintra, unchallenged through the main gate. The guards then let Cien and Fiol right into the Empress's throne room. Cien is still pretending Fiol is a prisoner, and they just walk right in. The Empress immediately goes back on her deal with Cien, which is very silly. The Empress will need help again in the future, and if word gets out of what she's done, nobody will ever trust her again. She just did that in front of 4 guards, who are probably now wondering when the Empress is going to betray them. Any leader necessarily needs people that are loyal around them, and what she's just done does not inspire loyalty.
Stop it. Get some help.
The Empress made a deal with this woman. The woman delivered on her side of the deal, and now the Empress is going to execute her for it. You see, in comparison, the Empress's plastic armour doesn't look quite so silly now, does it?
A dwarf.
Witcher Blood Origin, and where did I leave off last time? Well, the Empress had just betrayed Cien after making a deal with her, thereby losing any shred of credibility she still had. This after she just trusted Lenny Henry, who she trusted out of necessity because she needed him for portals, after betraying him and throwing him in a cell just last episode. And you'll never guess what happened. Lenny Henry only betrayed her. Cien has also betrayed the Empress, and the Lark is now inside Sintra's walls with a mercenary army. Meanwhile, the Lark attacks the guards at the granary in Sintra and opens it up, showing the people of the city that the granary is empty and spurring them to revolution, and they all start singing the Lark's Black Rose song. Then Portal Guy comes over to the Lark and says,
I thought my magic was powerful. Well done.
and oh boy, this show's lame. Meanwhile, the Empress is trying to win Fiol over. I guess she's Fioling for him hard. She says she knew everyone she loved would die if she did what she did, and she still said yes in a second. So they all died, including Fiol's whole clan and family. She did it, she says, because otherwise she would have gone down in history as a footnote in someone else's story. She expects Fiol to join her after saying this. After she cut his sister's throat from behind, she's destroyed everything around her for vanity and ego. And is Empress Merwin a self-insert for Lauren Hisrich? Then Fiol beats the Empress's guards and she runs away, leaving Fiol to fight the Eye Death Laser Hellbeast. Cien gets free because these guards cannot do anything right. She then lets the rest of the Lark's group into the palace. The group then immediately split up. The Lark and the wizards go on to the monolith, while Cien, Meldoff and Brother Death stay behind to stop the soldiers from following them. And here we go. Brother Death is about to do something for the first time in near 4 hours. Cien's group are then attacked by 9 guards. Meldoff drops 2 with arrows. Cien drops 6 of them, and Brother Death drops the remaining 1 with his meat cleavers. He hits a guard 3 times and is then out of breath. What is this character? How is he out of breath after that? He barely did anything.
Is it always this tiring?
Come on, big lad. We're only just getting started.
He's doubled over, out of breath, and then Meldoff just harasses him. And you may not think this is okay, but don't worry, in this case it is okay, because the person being harassed is a man. The Lark's group split up yet again. This time the Lark goes after the Empress, while the mages carry on to the monolith. So the Lark goes into the Empress's quarters and...
You're her. The Lark. I thought you'd be... more.
And of course the Empress knows who the Lark is. Everybody in the entire continent knows who the Lark is. The two of them have an angry dialogue, but these characters have never met. This whole conversation feels so flat and unnatural. This should probably be Fjord confronting the Empress and not the Lark. Those two characters at least have history. But they can't do that because they don't want to show a man being violent towards a woman. A woman being violent to a man is fine though, because that's feminism, that's equality. The Lark is just angry at the Empress for no stated reason. She should maybe be angry because of the death of her mother. No? How about her sister? The multiple invasions that the Empress's new empire has launched? No? She's just angry instead at the alleged childishness of this woman that she's never met before and has shared about 3 words with. The Lark then drops that she's actually glad that the Empress killed all those people, including members of her own family, because now that makes the revolution that the Lark wants more possible. And the writers are trying to send a message to the viewers here, but I fear the message they wanted to send and what they actually did send are quite a bit different. I think they wanted to say power to the people, a generic socialist revolutionary message, but I fear the message they actually showed in their story is a hero willing to have her own family die for a utopia that's always only one more death away. The people fought because the granaries were empty, but with the Empress dead, the granaries are still empty. The people are still starving. Lark then stabs the Empress through her armour that, like the plot of Blood Origin, is also full of holes. So there's probably going to be a civil war now, because the government is gone and there's no replacement. Meanwhile, the wizards have a wizard fight with fireballs and all that malarkey at the monolith, and Fjord beats the Hellbeast by throwing a giant sword at its head, while wearing a terrible muscle suit that apparently smelled so bad it made everyone that had to share a room with the actor retch from the smell. With the Hellbeast gone, Fjord then goes mental and tears Dylan Moran in half. He also punches Brother Death's eye out, and he only stops attacking people when the Lark starts singing again. The Lark then stabs Fjord, and that's the end of him. The wizards manage to steal Lenny Henry's hell energy and use it to destroy the giant monolith, ending both Portal Guy and Lenny Henry, and that causes the conjunction of the spheres for some reason. Other planets start merging with that of the elves, dumping vampires and monsters, and worst of all humans, onto the planet of the elves, that will in time result in the near extermination of the elf species. Then in the epilogue, the Lark sings a lot more for her fallen comrades. Do you get it? Because fallen comrades, but Fjord died, so Fjorlin. I'll get my coat. And that's it for Witcher Blood Origin. And Bloody Awful would have been a far more accurate name for it. What a gargantuan, franchise-destroying waste of time and money. But here we have for me the best feature of Witcher Blood Origin. That moment when it finally ends and goes away. It's over. It's finally over.
Could you make him a cup of tea, please, Stephanie?